I'm Kevin McCormley of Kiplinger's, here to clear up some confusion about donating a used car to charity. As the year draws to a close, you're probably hearing a lot from charities promising that Uncle Sam will give you a valuable tax break if you will give the charity an old car. And while it's true that such non-cash gifts can be written off, it's a lot more complicated than it used to be, and probably less valuable too. You see, a few years ago, the IRS got fed up with being taken advantage of by folks claiming deductions for more than their cars were really worth. It was up to the donor to set the value of the car and thus the size of the deduction, and many just looked up the number in a used car pricing guide. The IRS worried that too often taxpayers were writing off cream puff prices for vehicles that really didn't measure up. Heck, many of them had to be towed away. So the tax agency convinced Congress to change the law. Now, in most cases, your deduction is limited to the amount the car sells for when the charity auctions it off to raise cash. Not only does this prevent taxpayers from inflating the value, it actually puts them at a disadvantage. While the law says you can deduct the fair market value of the vehicle, limiting your write-off to the auction price sticks you with the wholesale price at best, or even a fire sale value. Now, there's an exception, which some charities promote heavily. If the charity keeps the car for its own use, fixes it up before selling it, or sells it at a discount to a needy person, you are still allowed to set the deduction amount at the fair market value of the vehicle. That's likely to earn you a bigger deduction for your gift, but you'll also need to be able to justify the figure if the IRS audits your return. Now for the paperwork. If your deduction is more than $500, you'll need to include a Form 8283 with your return. You'll also need to include a copy of a Form 1098-C from the charity showing how much the vehicle sold for. And if you don't have that form by the time you're ready to file your return, you're supposed to file for an extension. If the charity meets one of the exceptions, you should get an acknowledgement from the group explaining that fact instead of a 1098-C. Send it along with your return. And if you claim more than $5,000 for the gift of a car, you'll also need to include an independent appraisal to support your deduction. Although this might sound like a pain, it can still be a win-win way for you to help out a group you support and to cut your tax bill at the same time.